Hi all, Satyam here, and this is the ninth video in TypeScript series. Now in this video we are going to see what are union types. So let's get started. So the greatest power of JavaScript is its dynamic nature. Basically you can send any kind of input or any type of input and expect any type of output from a function. So what it means is that the same function, that one single function, can be used in multiple different places for multiple different inputs and different output types. So basically you are using the same function for a variety of things, and that ends up in very less code. Of course the code is very hard to manage, but it does reduces the bundle size, it reduces the code size. So that is a great power, but the power is not controlled. That power is completely like out there. Okay, it is ready to just destroy everything. So the power is not controlled there, and that is why the same thing, the power of JavaScript is also its demise. It's a headache. So that power is actually controlled in TypeScript with the help of union types. So union types is a way for you to provide multiple types of inputs to a function and get multiple types of output from a function. So for example, that let's just say you are trying to create a function that will work with numbers and strings both. So you can create a union type for numbers and strings and pass that union type into the function as parameter, and now your function will be able to accept a string or a number as an input. Okay, and the similar cases for return type also. You can actually return a string or a number or some other kind of data type from that function. So let's get started on our computer screen to actually understand how this thing works. So here in my computer screen we are on Visual Studio Code. So I'm gonna just go ahead in my documents folder. I will go into my TypeScript YouTube folder and I will just create a new folder for this video or this section, I would say. And the name should be union types. Okay, simple, union types. And this is the folder in which we are going to create our files here today. So yeah, I trust the authors, and now we can actually start. So I'll just create a new file here, index.ts. So let us try to first of all list a few types in TypeScript. Okay, so in TypeScript we have string, number, boolean, then we have null, then we have undefined, right? Then we have string arrays, we have number arrays, right? Then we have string object type or string class, then we have number class, right? So we have a ton of basically types in TypeScript already available to us. Now what is a union? Okay, so a union is basically a group, in simple language. A union is basically a group, or some things put together. That's all a union is, right? Then that's exactly what this is in TypeScript context also. So in TypeScript, a union simply means a group of data types. So suppose that I have a function called my function, and in this function I want to basically provide a number or a string as an input. Okay, so I want to provide a number or a string, not both of them at the same time, but any of these types will work. The input can be of any type, any of these two types. So I want to do this, right? A number or a string. So how am I going to do this? I can do this with the help of a union type. So union type, okay, union type for number and string will look like this: number and then a pipe character and then string. Okay, this is the union type. Okay, so here what you are doing is that you are telling the TypeScript compiler that okay, the type of this input or this parameter can be a number or can be a string. This pipe character, you can think of it as or. So let us actually try to use this in a function. So I'm just gonna create a function, my function. Okay, and then let's just, I don't know what we will do in this, I don't know. First of all, let's just go into the parameter section. Okay, let's just create a parameter of x. It can be anything. Okay, and now right now x is of any type. Okay, x is implicitly of any type. Okay, so of course any type means you can provide any kind of input. Okay, you can provide numbers, string, boolean, arrays, or whatever. Okay, but we want to limit that thing to only two types of data, basically numbers and string. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually tell here, let me just make it a little bigger. So you can here tell that okay, x should be of a union type of number and string. Okay, what this means is that x can be of type number or x can be of type string. Okay, any of these two types of data can be given as input in my function. Now you can actually interchange the position of these types also. Okay, so basically this is also the same thing, it's the same thing. Okay, so any of these two data types will work here. What this means is that I can come here and let's just say console.log. Okay, first of all we are going to simply log the type of our x. Okay, so yeah, we are just going to console log the type of x first of all. Okay, that's all we are going to do. So let us call this function my function, and then I'm gonna pass an input like just say hello. Okay, it's a string input, and then on the second line let us pass the function. Okay, let us pass a number to my function like just say 99. Okay, so as you can see here that on this line we are passing a string on our function, and then on this line we are passing a number to the function, right? So let us save it, try to run this code. I'll just open my terminal, and here you can write tsc index.ts, then you can say node index.js, and here you can see that first string is console logged here on this line number 9, and then number is console logged in our console on line number 11. Okay, simple, correct? But now let's come back to the code and try to do something else. If I try to input, I don't know, a boolean like just say true, okay, to my function, you will see that we are getting an error, which means if I hover over it, you will see that argument of type boolean is not assignable to the parameter x of type string and number. Okay, so what it says is that okay, this x is actually of type string or number. Okay, x is a union type which can accept a string or a number. Okay, but it cannot accept a boolean, and that's why it is giving you an error, which means we are limiting the types that we can provide as input to the function. And that is how you actually control the power of JavaScript to input anything into the function. Okay, of course if I write here any, then boolean will also be accepted, but then there is no difference between TypeScript and JavaScript, right? Like what is the difference? And that is why union types are so good, because we can now use the same function. Okay, we don't have to write another function for number or string. We can use the same function to work with both number and string data types, right? And that of course reduces the code and the size of your output bundle. Now if I just remove it because it is giving me an error, yeah. So now let us try to create another function. Okay, my function 2. I am really bad at naming. Okay, don't try to name functions like me. Okay, that's not a good practice at all. So here on the my function 2, like just say the name of our parameter is param, and the type of this parameter is a union type of string and string array. So what it means is that you can pass a single string also, and you can pass an array of string also in this function. Okay, and let's try to first of all console log things. Okay, console log param. Okay, first of all we will simply console log it, and yeah, I will have to actually compile it again. So tsc index.ts and node index.js. Okay, so yeah, of course I did not use my function anywhere, my bad. My function 2, I can pass a single string like satyam, and on the other line I can also pass an array of strings. So my function 2, I will now pass an array of strings. Let's just say satyam, I don't know, Krishna, oh sorry, Radha. Yeah, so we have 3 names in our array. Okay, if I now try to run this again, and yeah, so as you can see here that now we are actually getting an array and our name single string back in the console. Now let us actually understand how to work with these kind of union types. Okay, so here in the first function, my function, okay, if I try to do something like this, okay, So if I try to return x dot to uppercase, and you can see that if this is actually giving me an error, but string type does actually have this function x dot to uppercase. If I hover over it, you will see that the property to uppercase does not exist on this union type. Okay, it simply does not exist on union types. But here if I try to do this, right, to uppercase, you can see that we actually have this function for the strings. Okay, for strings we have this function, but we are not able to see this for our union type. And the reason is because this function actually does not exist for both string and number. This function exists for string but not for number. Okay, so now that's a headache, right? How do we deal with this? And you can deal with this with the help of type guards. Okay, we are not dealing with type guards in this video, but we will have to see them to understand how unions are. Okay, so if you are trying to write code that will work with the strings only, then you can actually write a type guard here. If x or type of x double is equals to, then inside of these curly braces you can actually do this dot to uppercase. Okay, because the TypeScript is actually smart enough to actually check this guard, and then inside here it will be sure that okay, x will be a string only, then this line will execute. Okay, it is smart enough to understand that. And now if I actually try to write else here, and if I try to return something, okay, so I wrote x, and after the dot you can see that all I'm getting is functions that are applicable only to the numbers, because the TypeScript is smart enough to know that if this check actually fails, then anything that comes here will be of number type, because that's all there is left be in our union type. So TypeScript is pretty smart. Okay, you will have to write check like this if you are trying to write some code that depends on the type. Okay, and that is the thing, when you are dealing with union types, yes, you can accept multiple types of inputs from the user, but it becomes your responsibility to actually manage those types inside your function. Yes, you will have the same function that will deal with multiple inputs and outputs, but it will be your responsibility to make sure that whatever happening is inside the function is actually correct. Okay, so now if I run this file, I should get a capital hello, or uppercase hello, sorry, and simple 99. Okay, so if I try to run it now, yeah, oh sorry, of course we are returning it, so we are not console logging all of it, so we can actually get k sorry get uppercase here, and we can actually get num here. Okay, so we can do this. And now if I try to console log these two things, console.log uppercase and then console.log num, now we will be able to see the data. Okay, again one more time, and here you can see that we are getting a capital or uppercase hello string, and we are getting 99 here. Okay, simple, very simple, 99 number. And now you can actually see that our function here, my function, is actually returning two different types of data. It can return this string, okay, uppercase string, or it can return the number value of whatever x we passed. Okay, so it can return a number and a string. And how do we check it? If I go here on this line and I try to hover over my mouse here, you can see that the return type here is string and number. Okay, it is implicitly deduced by TypeScript or figured out by TypeScript itself, but we can actually write it here also. We can tell that we want to get a string or a number as an output from this function. Okay, simple. Now of course you don't have to stick to the string and number. You can actually say I want to get a string or boolean as an output, right? So you can do that. This type, okay, input type and output type does not have to be same, they can be different, but you will have to of course deal with these output types in your function, within your function. So as you can see here, I'm getting an error because I'm trying to return a number instead of boolean. So what I can do is I can return a boolean condition like x greater than 88. Okay, and that will give you true or false. It will give you true if it is greater than 88, or false if it is not, and that true or false will be returned as boolean value back to the function, back from the function, sorry. So yeah, that's how union types work in TypeScript. And understand that you don't have to stick to only two types of variables. You can actually add more. Okay, you can say that I want to accept boolean also, I want to accept number class also, I want to accept number array also. Okay, you can accept as many types of inputs you want, but you just have to handle all that stuff in your code, in your function. But it does reduces a lot of your work because you don't have to write the same function again and again for multiple different types. Okay, so it does reduces your code quite a lot, but you need to actually manage it properly. And the same is true for output type also. So you can get number class, string class, or any other thing, right? Any other thing that you want to get back, including custom types also. We have not seen custom types, but it also works on custom types. So yeah, that's basically union types in TypeScript. Now in the next section, we are going to see type aliases. Till then, bye.